And finally, the old man comes up with this one. This one is he says, I paid the bill down at Stokowski's. And she says, how much was it? And he says, $18. $18. He says, yep. By the way, Stokowski's was a big gas station where the old man spent all of his money. And he'd say, he says, boy, I'll tell you, these gasoline guys are wringing, let me tell you, they're really wringing you dry. Did I ever tell you about the guy I met who knew a guy who invented a carburetor that would run on water? Really run on water. That was the cue for my mother to say, no, really? Yeah? Really? Yeah. He says, one night I'm at the bowling alley, and I met this guy who was bowling for the tin mill. And we're sitting there, and he says, and we were talking about gas. We were talking about the gas station and the prices. And he says, do you know that I know a guy who made a carburetor that ran on water, but they wouldn't let him get it out. They would never stand for that. Well, that story has been told by every male, Ed, I'd say roughly since 1905. Since maybe about the third automobile was pushed off the assembly line, that they won't let that carburetor out that gets 117 miles to the gallon. They will not do it. You know how they are and how much money they make, and you realize what it would do to them? Oh, boy. Oh, we're crying out loud. 4 gallons of gas a year you'd need. 4 gallons. 4 gallons, 1,000 miles to the gallon. You think they want that out? How about the tires? They got a tire. You know that they buy up the patents, you know. Oh, yeah, they buy them up right away, 100,000. They buy them up any price. Sometimes they even kill the guy that invented it. I know about it. Yeah, there's a guy in Cleveland invented a tire. Guy I know for a fact, a guy invented a tire that lasts 150,000 miles. What do you think happened to him? Never heard of him again. Never seen him again. I know for a fact. And let me tell you, there's a guy invented a match. What never wears out, it strikes eternally all the time, the same match. What do you think they did to that guy? Oh, boy. Oh, what do you think they did to him? Oh. Well, my father had at least 15 different things that he knew that they had invented that lasted forever. Like there was a spark plug that was guaranteed for the life of the car, Ed. Absolutely. What do you think they did with that guy? Oh, that's a deep river out there, that East River. Let me tell you. Yeah, there was another one, too, that he swore on a stack of Bibles, a million high. Oh, fantastic. He says, do you know that a guy invented a car? The car does not use a battery. Not only that, it does not use conventional fuel like we know, has no fuel such as we know, and has only 2 moving parts. Both of them are the wheels. This car lasts a lifetime, and it sells for $75. What do you think they did to him? They bought that guy up. He sold out. There was also a radio tube guaranteed to last for life, which they bought up. Boy, RCA bought that one up right away. That guy was sent down to shoot. He's working in a tin mine in Paraguay now. That guy. Boy. This is one of the great American folk myths, and I hope somebody records that. How many of you guys out there know about that carburetor, fellas? Huh? How many of you guys know about that pill that you put into the gas and it gives you over 150 miles to the gallon, only they won't let it out? Boy, that's a crummy bunch. I'll tell you. What about that razor blade that they invented that is good for 1 year? Shaving every day, perfect shaves. Won't let that one out. Oh, not in a pig's ear, man. I'll tell you, let that one out. Oh boy. Oh, they're not going to let that. Let me tell you. I'll tell you this. I could tell you stories you wouldn't believe. Do you know that a guy invented a kind of leather, a kind of synthetic leather that does not wear discernibly over a 20-year period? Does not wear discernibly. You could get a pair of shoes, and you could wear them shoes for 15 years. Who do you think bought that one up? Do you think they let that guy out? Oh, boy. I'll tell you, I know for a fact because I met a guy who had a pair of them shoes. because he knew the guy that invented it. And it was an experimental model. The guy had been wearing them since 1922. And this guy was walking around, and you know that they were following him with detectives? Well, that's the kind of jazz. This is apocryphal folk humor. And I can think of several others. One of my great bits of folk humor, of course, it's not folk humor. It's folk. It's really very closely parallel to the kind of stuff that natives in many islands believe in magic. It's a belief in magic, is what it really is. It is a belief in a great supernatural force. This could even be translated into the belief in the devil versus God. Oh boy, we can really get philosophical about it, but it runs through. And I'll guarantee you this. Right now, as I'm telling this, there are 9 guys out there somewhere listening to the show are getting teed off, yelling at their wife and saying, I am a nut. And as a matter of fact, I know for a fact that there was a guy in Trenton who had a carburetor. As a matter of fact, I met the son of a gun. What is this nut? Why did they let this guy on the radio? and yeah, sure. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. There's never any stop to it. Actually, it's like the great sea monster myths that go on. People will swear they saw that thing in Loch Ness. They'll go on forever. It's also akin to the flying saucer myths, because when you have a technical civilization. The myths that involve a technical civilization, which, by the way, is defeating us individually and probably collectively too, the myths will center around the outcroppings of the great enemy itself. We always ascribe supernatural powers to the enemy. I can remember during World War II when I was in the Army, the idea when you're sitting in basic training and watching the movies, the Germans were absolutely super soldiers. You remember that, Ed? It would be like fighting some fantastic king called, forget it, you're never going to beat him. The idea of fighting a Japanese soldier was like fighting a completely supernatural being. They just incredible kind of fight, just incredible. And they, on the other hand, by the way, had myths about us. I was surprised to learn that I was considered a savage, barbaric Superman. About the oh yeah, the Germans said terrible things about it. They were scared. Boy, they were really scared of the Americans. That's the truth. And so you always do. Now the enemy is technical. The enemy is technical in our world today, and so it is only natural that very early after the enemy appears, we begin to give him supernatural powers. Supernatural powers. And of course the enemy too in a civilization is always the people who seem to be in control of the great big power. In short, the they. The they are keeping the perfect car away from us. The they are keeping the gasoline that will run forever. The they are keeping away the tires and the razor blades and all the things that would make our life go forever perfect, all the way on, never trouble, never, all the way to the final grade. The AMA now, they're keeping this away from us. Immediately I can hear the screams out, but they are, oh wow. It's always somebody who's keeping paradise away from us. And as long as we can find somebody to yell at, we feel then that paradise is still attainable. If you can find out the rotten son of a gun that's keeping it away. And so my old man always thought it was General Motors. They were doing it to him. That's why his Essex kept dropping transmissions out in the driveway. You know, they did it to him again. And he always said, now that was an earlier civilization. Now today, of course, it's all kinds of things. It's the communists. They're keeping me from getting my knee right. Or it's the AMA. They're keeping me. I'm going to die. Oh, they're doing it. Oh, wow. There's that one. Then there's...
Thank you, Gene Shepard. This is WOR Radio.